Noche UFC is going down in Las Vegas this weekend, and I'm pumped to see who comes out on top. I've partnered up with DraftKings, and they got an offer that is perfect if you're looking to get closer to the action. Right now, all new customers that bet just $5 will instantly get $250 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. When you sign up, use my promo code SONNEN. DraftKings, the crown is yours. That's $250 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Staying on the action and use your $250 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun at DraftKings with daily fantasy and have a shot at all the prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers, use my promo code SONNEN, bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code SONNEN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. On a personal note, I never felt something could be promoted, at least not to me. The way my psyche works, what energizes me as a fan, as a viewer, I've never felt that a venue could affect that. Let me use an example of the Olympic Games, right? The scarcity, they come along once every 4 years. I've wanted to go to the Olympics. I've wanted to see them very badly, but it hasn't changed whether it was in Beijing, whether it was in Rio, whether the Paris we just saw are upcoming in Los Angeles. Like, I wanted to see the event itself, and I'm just speaking personally. Now we got the Sphere. It's working. When Dana White came out and said, this is a one and done, oh, by the way, I've already spent $16 million just in production to be able to keep up with the technology that is in use at the Sphere. I don't think he meant for that to be the marketing juggernaut that it turned into. I don't think he meant for every fighter on the roster from Conor on down to come out of the woodwork and beg for an opportunity to fight on this. I wanted to come and tell you guys all about the Sphere. Now, I haven't set foot in it. You guys see it in the backdrop. It's a very impressive thing. It's very impressive that man made that, right? But I haven't been in there, and I wanted to bring my little camera with me. I wanted to go in the Sphere, and I wanted to give you guys a tour, show you what's going on. 2 reasons I haven't done that. First, I've already had to sign a letter where I'm sealing my lips. I do not reveal anything to you, the audience, that I see inside the Sphere. It is an absolute secret until Saturday. Members of ESPN that are here in Vegas and will be here all week have not and will never set foot inside the actual building. When we go in, our phones, by example, which dub as cameras, will be confiscated. We pick those up on our way out. I'm only telling you guys this because this is working for me. Like, there's something about this that is making it so interesting and so exciting. I mean, I've maintained to you guys for years that if you study economics, it doesn't matter if you have your master's or you have a PhD, if you're really good in business or you're just getting started. If you spent 15 minutes on it, you've wasted 14. Supply and demand, right? Like, I am the first to tell you, and then I'll even hear from the economics audience out there that'll weigh in, and we'll go back and forth. And by the end of it, every one of them, including college professors, has had to concede to me that I'm right. There's nothing else that you have to understand but supply and demand. And we're just seeing that in full effect as it pertains to the Sphere, as it pertains to what is going to be happening. And when I'm looking at the card, begging, when I'm looking at the opportunities that are being given, that the athletes themselves that are seeing something very special, ultimately we settle in with Merab and Sugar Sean. And it is such an interesting take, all the things that are on the line. Because where does the winner go? And anytime you have a big fight, this is one that promoters will miss often. Promoters will generally look at resumes. Who's got the 2 shiniest resumes that we can match up against each other? Okay, great, there's our main event. This guy was an Abu Dhabi medalist, and this guy won the King of the Cage, and this guy's won 18 in a row, and this guy's only lost twice. Like, they don't understand. To have a big fight, there has to be a big gap in careers when the fight is over. Meaning, where does the winner go and where does the loser go? If it's a situation where neither one really has a fall, well, then you don't have a big fight, and you can't have a big fight. If it's a situation of we don't know where the winner goes, we'll figure that out next week, then you don't have a big fight. By definition, you can't. There has to be a gap. There has to be a discrepancy in what happens to the winner versus what happens to the loser. And when you do look at this fight, which is going to go down as the highest gate ever in UFC history, and then you go and look at Sean O'Malley and Merab, how did they get it and why? I'll share with you, where does the winner go? Well, it's one of the few times that we have a very clear answer. Goes right in to Nurmagomedov, the undefeated Nurmagomedov, who will be here, who will be in the front row, and perhaps something organic will happen in terms of a face-off, an announcement. But where does the loser go? I think you'd have a hard time answering that question. So would I. Very rarely, and that's the relevance to Nurmagomedov being here, very rarely does a champion not automatically maintain consideration to a number one contendership for the very belt that he is about to lose. Right? Like if O'Malley is to get beat by Merab, we'd have to see the fight. We'd have to see what would happen. We'd have to give a good look at the rankings. But even when we take all of that in its totality, we're going to have to consider that O'Malley falls from champion to number one contender for the very belt that he's holding right now. Well, not in this case. We already know. We already know it's going to Nurmagomedov. So I come back and I ask you for a third time, what happens to the loser? Where does he go? And it was an uphill battle for Merab to get to this position in the first place. Whether that was that he wasn't over with the audience, whether his style wasn't over with the organization, whether his teammate, mentor, and friend was holding the belt who he refused to fight. Like, it was really hard to get him in this spot in the first place. So this is the one. Okay, fine. What do you do with O'Malley? O'Malley right now is the champion of the world and the biggest draw in the sport. If he loses the belt, I don't believe he's not still the biggest draw in the sport. So where do you put a guy like that? And oftentimes you would say, well, you give him a rematch, find a way. Get him back in that spot, get him his belt back, let's see how the match goes. Was it competitive? Was there an injury? What kind of story can we tell? That's not even on the table because it's going to Nurmagomedov. Believe me when I tell you, the outcome matters.